Hello, my name is Avery Csaszar, and today I'll be presenting my most recent research titled A Scoping Review of Greenwashing. This research was graciously funded by the University of Oregon Center for Undergraduate Research and Engagement's Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, and I would also like to start by thanking Professor Alex Cohen for being the faculty advisor that oversaw this research and project. So to give a brief overview of how this presentation is organized, I will first start off with an introduction that will provide background to my research. Then I will discuss the 7 sins of greenwashing and how they are significant to this study. Next, I will display the research questions that I sought to answer, and then I will explain the research methodology I used to carry out this study, and then discuss the results and most significant findings, and then I will end with a conclusion to wrap everything up. Greenwashing is a harmful marketing tactic that arose as companies tried to cater to environmentally conscious consumers. These intentions, however, have been proven to not be backed up by true environmental efforts in many cases. Greenwashing can be described as the practice of actors deliberately misleading the public regarding environmental efforts, products, and reports. It's basically when an entity says that they are being more environmentally friendly than they truly are. Greenwashing is a very important topic to research because it ultimately leads to a setback in the fight against the climate crisis, and it reinforces harmful behavior and practices toward the environment for the sake of companies' and individuals' green image. The significance of this topic lies in the increase in consumer awareness of environmental issues. As more people seek eco-friendly products, the risk of falling victim to greenwashing grows. Understanding this phenomenon is crucial for empowering consumers and promoting ethical marketing practices. Through a scoping review, this research seeks to define greenwashing and explore the tactics most used, as well as the solutions the literature provides to combat greenwashing. It sought to be a comprehensive scoping review of greenwashing that yields a tool for researchers, policymakers, and the public to use to better understand and be educated on the topic of greenwashing, as well as how to move forward in curbing the practice of greenwashing. Greenwashing is a topic that has not been extensively researched yet, and so therefore these are the topics that I felt were most important to explore. So my first research question is, what criteria are used to identify greenwashing in the literature found in select databases? And with that, what themes are most prevalent in the definitions of greenwashing? My second research question, what tactics of greenwashing have been most explored in academic literature? And then my third and final research question, what solutions does the literature provide to combat the practice of greenwashing? So a big issue with greenwashing is that it does not have a distinct definition or way to identify it. However, in 2007, TerraChoice developed the 7 sins of greenwashing after extensive research studying environmental claims. TerraChoice is a Canadian-based private marketing and environmental advisory firm that assists clients from diverse industries and business sectors in incorporating sustainability principles and objectives into their corporate strategies. These sins were developed to aid consumers in identifying products and companies making misleading environmental claims. The 7 sins include the sin of hidden trade-offs, the sin of no proof, the sin of vagueness, the sin of worshiping false labels, the sin of irrelevance, the sin of lesser two evils, and the sin of fibbing. All of these are methods companies use to mislead consumers into believing that their practices and products are green. They lead to consumers mistrusting products and ultimately set societal progress back as we continue to fight climate change. So this shows the process I went through from my search all the way down to how I got to the final articles that I was going to use. So I employed a scoping review methodology, which is effective for mapping existing literature and identifying research gaps. My searches used 2 different databases, the Web of Science and then EBSCOhost. I used the specific keyword of greenwash with an asterisk, which means it includes all forms of the word, such as greenwashed, greenwasher, greenwashing, etc. Inclusion criteria was set to focus on US-focused articles peer-reviewed academic articles with no restraint to time, and they must have included the keyword greenwash as well as be talking about greenwashing within the paper. If a study appeared multiple times across multiple databases, I reviewed the study as a single source, not duplicates. Per De Freitas Neto et al. In 2020, the data selection process consisted of two main phases. The first phase involved an analysis of the titles and abstracts of the documents, while the second phase involved an examination of the introductions and conclusions. So as we can see from this figure, my initial searches yielded 751 results, and after the screening process, I then had 99 articles that met the inclusion criteria that I used for my final research and analysis. Now I will discuss the results and key findings of this study. So this table shows the name of each publication journal used. Of the 99 articles, there were 79 different publication journals. These 79 journals depict a wide range of topics and areas. So as we can see, Journal of Business Ethics was the most common journal of them, having 7 articles published there in the study. This business journal focuses on sustainability, and it seeks to push forward the comprehension of green business strategies to improve the natural environment. So this shows that over half of the articles were published in or after 2020. 19 articles were published in 2022, followed by 17 articles in 2023. Only 7 articles were published before 2010. So this is illustrating the correlation of the number of articles published with the year, describing an increasing number of articles discussing greenwashing in recent years. This table depicts the codebook and results of each code during the qualitative data analysis using in vivo. Of the 99 articles studied, 71 articles included a definition of greenwashing, while 28 articles provided no definition. Of the 71 articles with definitions, 30 articles included multiple definitions. 12 articles that defined greenwashing utilized the word deceptive or a form of it, while 33 articles used the word mislead or a form of it in its definition. 52 of the 99 articles offered one or multiple solutions to greenwashing. 74 articles included at least one of the 7 sins of greenwashing. The sin most identified in the literature was the sin of hidden trade-offs, which 41 articles mentioned. The sin of no proof was second most prominent, with 27 articles mentioning it, and the sin of vagueness was third most prominent, with 26 articles mentioning it. Lastly, 63 articles studied the topic quantitatively, while 36 articles studied it qualitatively. Quantitative studies were identified as studies that sought to answer questions that involve measurement, frequency, or numerical data. And then qualitative studies were identified as studies that aimed to explore phenomena, understand experiences, or provide in-depth insights into behaviors or social processes. So getting into what I found in terms of definitions, here are 2 different ways the authors defined greenwashing. So authors Gatti, Pizzetti, and Seal write that greenwashing consists of strategically deceiving stakeholders regarding environmental commitment and performance because what the firm communicates is voluntarily incongruent with its actual behavior. On the other hand, Barone and colleagues write that greenwashing refers to the practice of making unsubstantiated or misleading claims about a firm's environmental impact. So as we can see, these definitions have a lot of common themes and are talking about similar ideas, but the verbiage that they use is a bit different. So 71 of the 99 articles included a definition. Of the 71 articles with definitions, 2 words were most prominent. 33 articles used the word mislead in their definition, while 12 articles used the word deceive. So when I was going through and looking at all of the different ways the authors defined greenwashing, I wanted to come up with my own definition to give a more comprehensive, all-encompassing way of defining and identifying greenwashing. So, my definition of greenwashing that I came up with is the practice of actors deliberately misleading the public regarding environmental efforts, products, and reports. So, I use the word actors because greenwashing can be done by anyone. It's not limited to businesses, corporations, or other for or nonprofit groups. And I chose to use the word mislead because greenwashing can be done intentionally or not. And the word deceive implies a lot more intentionality, which isn't always the case because people may not always be aware that they are greenwashing. So this displays which of the sins of greenwashing were most explored in the literature. So the sin of hidden trade-off, sin of no proof, and sin of vagueness may have been explored more because they are easier to identify than other sins, and they are also most prevalent in environmental claims. And then the other four sins were least identified, which may be due to the perceived complexity or subtlety of these sins, which may not be as immediately obvious or easy to identify as others. So, to give a quick summary of all of these solutions that I found in the literature, the emphasis on certifications such as LEED and also B corporations reflects a broader trend in which firms seek to signal their environmental commitment through third-party verification. However, the literature also warns of the risks associated with these certifications, as firms may engage in symbolic participation where they obtain certifications without making substantive improvements. 20 articles in the reviewed literature propose solutions rooted in laws and regulations. These solutions are primarily concerned with increasing corporate transparency and enhancing environmental governance. The literature suggests that regulatory frameworks can play a critical role in reducing greenwashing by mandating disclosure and implementing stricter auditing processes. The reviewed articles suggest that educating consumers and enhancing their ability to recognize misleading environmental claims are essential steps in holding companies accountable. So, in conclusion, this research highlights greenwashing and how it is a prevalent issue in marketing and corporate responsibility landscapes. As consumers continue to demand greater transparency in environmental claims, researchers, policymakers, and businesses must work together to address the challenges and consequences associated with greenwashing. Thank you for listening.